away we go.
Say A, say M, say E, say R, say I, C, say A, M.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Ron Edwards American Experience Talk Show, where our unalienable rights are celebrated. And now, your radio refreshment, Ron Edwards.
Of the Ron Edwards American Experience. As always, it's a great honor to be with you, and thanks so much for tuning in from around the world and via K-Star Talk Radio, whether you're hearing us via also Last Frequency, or whether you're hearing us from LWRN and other outlets as well. And speaking of other outlets, brand new today, we're just being picked up by TuneIn, and you can join us there as well. Also via phone line. You can, not phone line, but you can pick us up via phone app. Boy, what is that number? What is that number? I will get it to you momentarily. But anyway, as we move ahead in this day, this is the day the Lord has made, and we shall and always be glad in it. Yup. We believe in God on this show. If God was good enough for the founding fathers, Frederick Douglass, Ronald Reagan, my own dad, he's good enough for me. And that's the name of that tune. Well, speaking of news, my friends, yep, I don't know how true this is, but this was just passed to me on the Ron Edwards American Experience desk. I don't know how true this is, so do not hold me to the wall on this one. According to certain sources, there's a warning going out for the United States of America. It seems that about 30 minutes ago, a report came out showing a video where Vladimir Putin is threatening the United States with nuclear war. He doesn't want it, but he will unleash the nukes if Ukraine is accepted into NATO and if Biden keeps poking the bear, basically. And remember, I've been talking about this on the show, about how the United States keeps picking at Putin, poking the bear. And I've been trying to tell people for a long, long time, Putin does not want to make big war in Ukraine. See, he's being picked with. You're not being told the entire story. I don't even know the entire story, but I know more than what is being unleashed through the dragon media. And I do know that Putin has been unmercifully picked at ever since he and Trump got along. And the reason why is because Putin himself is not a globalist. He is a nationalist. And by the way, the people in Russia today, in this current situation with the corona China virus, mask mandates, and all these other stupid things that we're dealing with in the United States, the people in Russia are now technically freer than we are in this great country. As I said yesterday, or recently, if it wasn't yesterday, in government schools in Russia, you can speak openly and teach about Christians, the Christian history, Christian values. You can teach directly from the Bible. Putin doesn't care. But yet you have just about every single Democrat lawmaker in the United States of America that would rather blow America up than to allow Christian values to be taught. And then you wonder why, people wonder why things continue to get worse and worse and worse in this country. People wonder why decisions being made by government, families, preachers, the whole nine yards. The reason why is because we have stepped away from morality. I've said this time and time again, my friends, that the founding fathers warned us in the United States that if we stepped away from morality, things would go bad. Because you cannot maintain common sense liberty with immorality. The twain do not meet. You have to have a high sense of morality to maintain a free and open nation. The reason why is because it is moral people that know how to conduct themselves as civilized human beings. They're not the knuckle-dragging brutes running around raiding stores in White Plains, New York, or in Manhattan, or in San Francisco, or in Los Angeles, or in Cleveland, or wherever. They're not doing those things. It is the uncivilized brutes, the Cro-Magnons of today, that are brutalizing our cities and our small towns, that are beating up old people. And so, my friends, if this is true, I do not know. But it seems true based upon where I got this story from. Putin has a right to be quite angry because Biden and these jokers have been picking at him for years. But yet they say nothing about China. China's getting ready to swallow Taiwan like you swallow a meal. And yet hardly anything from the Biden administration. You know why? Because the Biden administration grabbed its ankles. Bohica, here it comes again. Ooh, China. Ooh, okay. Over and over again. And don't forget, Ukraine is a very crooked nation itself. Ukraine is crooked. About $31 million the Bidens earned or were able to craftily sift from Ukraine. So you better look into these situations for yourselves. And don't take the lie that Putin is the real villain in all of this. The real villains are in our government. Biden, Nasty Pelosi, all these people. We have such a sick, demented government and government school system that is turning people against this country. So much so that the young lady, I can't think of her name now, who grew up in San Francisco, grew up here, was trained here, and just won a gold medal last night for China. And I don't even fault her. I fault her parents. I fault where she went to school. If she went to church, I fault that as well. I fault this government. Because children and teenagers are taught systematically to hate this country. They're taught to be globalist pigs, to oink about, yearning for electric vehicles and other stupid ideas. Insanity breeds insanity. And yes, these teachings are just as much in the church as anywhere else. They teach more about many of the crooked things that are going on in government, in churches, than they teach about Jesus Christ or God. And I can prove it to you. Yep. Horrible stuff, my friends. But there's some good stuff, too. And we might even have a few laughs in a few minutes when I return with our special guest, Brooke Emery. She's back. And I'll be back, too.
Heavens to Murgatroyd!
The Ron Edwards American Experience Talk Show, where our unalienable rights are celebrated.
To ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States
Constitutional Grounds, the hot air roasted coffee that produces a smoother, richer, healthier, and less acidic coffee. Our unique hot air roasted coffee has a most delicious taste everyone is raving about. Because you want the best, Constitutional Grounds is the coffee you want in your cup. Simply go to theronedwards.com and click on to the Constitutional Grounds coffee display to make your purchase, and to be sure to use the RE20 promo code, and you will receive a 20% discount. Remember, Constitutional Grounds, the coffee you want in your cup.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happens. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
800-430-6715. That's 800-430-6715.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. And if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do. And you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
800-908-6084. 800-908-6084. That's 800-908-6084.
America's favorite get-together, the Ron Edwards American Experience. Join in at 985-218-0185. That's 985-218-0185.
Hi, this is Brooke from Brooke Talks America, and you're listening to the Ron Edwards American Experience.
I'm Ron Edwards, and welcome back. Yep, that was Brooke, and here is Brooke. Hello, Brooke, and welcome to the Ron Edwards American Experience.
Did you know Amazon provides ways of working that fit your lifestyle? They know you value your time outside of work, juggling family, school, friends, or other activities. That's why they offer a variety of shifts that work for you. There are full-time, part-time, and even temporary opportunities that can work with your schedule, with great starting pay and sign-on bonuses. If you want a career that fits and adapts to your lifestyle, head to Amazon.com/apply. Amazon is a proud equal opportunity employer.
Hi, how are you?
Doing very well. Super duper.
You know that's my intro song.
Say that again?
You know that's my intro song.
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be aired on my show, but hey, it is what it is. But anyway, I read your column, and it's a good column. We can get to that in a few minutes, but something has really got me fired up today. I don't know if you heard the show at the top, at the opening segment there. I was talking about what's going on with Mr. Putin. He's being really, I guess, pushed into a corner by the Biden administration. They've been picking at him for years, and I've been telling folks that he's not the real bad guy in all of this situation. And it's a pretty decent source. I'm not going to say that it's 100% true, but there's a possibility that Putin is like, you know what, I'm just going to throw a couple of missiles over there at the United States if Biden does not keep himself to himself, and if he doesn't stop picking at him. And Biden and Nasty Pelosi and these people have been picking at Putin for so long. even during the Trump administration. But yet, do you notice, Brooke, how they look the other way when it comes to China, who's the real big boogeyman in this situation? They're about to swallow up Taiwan, a true ally of ours, by the way. But yet our government does nothing, says nothing. What say you?
Well, of course, they're picking at Putin because to distract attention, and they want to do a wag the dog. They've been trying to force Ukraine into NATO, but guess what? NATO doesn't even want Ukraine, and Ukraine is corrupt. And we know that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and probably the whole family have been involved with shady dealings in Ukraine. So this is all wag the dog to divert attention, in addition to whatever, the neocons want, because, they're always salivating for a war with Russia forever, even before Trump, right? And probably something to get involved with Iran as well. This is all wag the dog to divert attention from his catastrophic poll numbers. The problem is that he's using American troops to do it. So he doesn't care. The Democrats don't care. They don't care about anything. They care about power and control. They're all in bed with China. And by the way, whether it's Russia or China, half the Republicans are in bed with him too. I mean, Mitch McConnell is so deep with China. His wife is Chinese. I think she's involved with the, if she's not directly involved with the CCP, she certainly is involved with companies over there. So it's all being exposed that our quote unquote elected officials couldn't give two about us or about this country or about our military, because they're more than willing to send them in to die.
And what's funny? They're sending them over like sacrificial lambs. How do you send, we're going to send 3,000 troops to one nation and 2,000 to another. And of course, they're going to be under, they don't have the type of armaments that they need to face a massive Russian army, if that's the case. Russia does not want to invade Ukraine, by the way. See, there's more details than they're telling everyone. And I wish Fox News, because a lot of people still watch them, I wish they would come out with more of the truth. I know if Tucker Carlson ever gets a hold of it, he would talk about it. But for the most part, they won't even go as far as I've gone. You will not hear on Fox that there's a possibility that Mr. Putin could throw a couple of missiles over here because he's getting tired of being poked by the Biden administration. And they are literally doing that. They're antagonizing him because, as you said, Brooke, they want to get into a war. Why? There's no valid reason to get into a war. There's no good to come out of this. It's not like fighting Hitler or Pol Pot or something like that. There's no reason. There's no logical reason for a war with Russia right now. Russia, did you know, Brooke, and you probably do know this, the people in Russia are more free than we are?
Really?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You go to a government school in Russia, you can mention the Christian God, the Jewish God, whatever, and talk about it and teach about it. They have a higher degree of math, science. They're not destroying their own country through history teaching, false history teaching. They're not teaching globalism in their schools. The people are freer over there. He doesn't believe in mask mandates. He didn't choke his people up. That's the other thing. Russia's a major nation, and they didn't go along with this globalist crap. He's a nationalist.
Yeah. Yes, this is true. He actually, for all his sayings, he actually doesn't hate his own people, like our elected officials do.
Yeah. Now, one of our topics that we like to laugh about is how in urban America, people get things twisted. And because of that twisting, well, the conditions of urban America. And it just continues on and on, just to show you how stupid people are. In the state of Georgia recently, the Senate, I think it's the Senate, they passed a resolution. They want to put a statue of Clarence Thomas in the State House. Guess who's opposing it?
The Democrats.
Well, not just Democrats, but especially who is opposing it most? I mean, they're Democrats, but there's a special group.
Of black females?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder
why. They are coming out. They call him a traitor. They're coming out viciously against the man. They're saying, we're not going to stand for this, blah, 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 blah. And to hell with that. But, and to call him a traitor, I don't get that. Maybe you can help me understand how Clarence Thomas can be explained or be described as a traitor. Traitor to whom? To what? Help me out here. I don't get it.
Well, here's the thing, and when you were talking about it, it made me think of OJ, and it actually makes me think of Michael Jackson as well. So Michael Jackson really didn't care too much about black people when he was going through his shave his face and go, bleach his skin and all this. O.J. Simpson couldn't give two damns. His first wife was black, had 2 children with black wife. Then he goes with Nicole. Couldn't care less about black people except for the fellas that he was partying with and everything like that. But when he killed his wife and Ron Goldman, then he cared about black people. And then Johnny Cochran pulled in, black people after the riots in L.A. to say, oh, O.J. is all about black people, and this is terrible what's happening to him, even though he's a murderer, right? So then all the black people love O.J., and O.J. loves the black people when it suffices to get him off of jail. Or off of, murder. The same thing with Michael Jackson. When he had his lawsuit, then he loves black people. It's the same thing here. They don't care about if you're a Democrat. So I really think the issue with Clarence Thomas is this. Clarence Thomas married a white woman, right? His first wife was black. His second wife is white. That is a traitor. You can't, it's different now because, even some of the sisters are swirling right now. But at the time, you couldn't do it. Right? And so for him to do that is verboten. Plus, they hate conservative black, male, female, if you're tripod, it doesn't matter. They probably especially hate black men, conservative men. I don't know that necessarily matters, but that's the issue, is he had a white wife and he's a conservative. So your duty is to hate all conservatives. But here's the thing, if it was a female, it would be the same thing. If it was Candace Owens and she was from Georgia and she had grown up in the same situation as him, it would be the exact same thing. They hate conservatives. So that, I think, is it. Plus, he had a white wife.
Well, Candace has a white husband, but, it's a double standard. But I got to correct you on one thing. When it comes to Michael Jackson, he actually did have a skin disease. And I know this up close. And, he didn't bleach his skin. I guess the disease, Vigilado or whatever it's called, I could never pronounce that word correctly, but he actually did have a disease. And I saw it in process when he was, I used to joke when I was a little boy and I'd see someone with that condition and they didn't have their makeup on. They looked like a cow because, you have the brown patches and the white or pink patches and like a Jersey cow. I used to joke about that. But yeah, that's what he really had. And as far as black people, he did lots of stuff for black organizations and black communities, but to the tune of millions. He did a lot more for black people than, Al Sharpton and people like that. And as far as hands-on or money that was actually spent and actually did help folks. So there's a lot of misconception when it comes to that individual. But for the most part, what you said, I totally agree with. But I just had to point that out about Mr. Jackson. And
his plastic surgery was pretty extreme too, but fine on the vitiligo, I get that. If that's true, then I get that. Yeah. But just his aesthetic and everything, and hanging out with Macaulay Culkin and some of the things that he did. But the principle is kind of the same. Some of these people get in the Hollywood and they go a little bit crazy, like he did.
Well, here's another thing too. A lot of people, when they're on their way up, like O.J. Simpson, like the Jacksons, when they were on their way up, around their black people, I can't tell you how many bricks were thrown through the windows of the Jackson 5 when they were rehearsing, when they were in that black neighborhood, and how many people tried to beat them up because of what they were doing and what their dad had them doing. And so...
White people or black people?
These are black people. This is where they grew up. And so... So it would be like my instinct. Okay, this is what they do. They brick me, they beat me, they do this because we're simply in a singing group. And of course, all of a sudden, when they became superstars, oh, that's the Jackson 5. They're all that, yay! But when they were in the process, those same people in that neighborhood used to brick them. Oh man, all kinds of stuff. So I interviewed them extensively in my years in Cleveland when I would meet Mrs. Jackson and all of that, and I met them. I met all of them except for Michael, close up, but worked out with Jackie. So, got to know these people, real nice people, by the way, and they told me about how when they were growing up, it was brutal. And so you kind of cater or meander towards those who are kinder to you and where you see your success. And so there's and same thing with OJ. When he had his rickets and he was a little boy and all that, he was tortured by his fellow blacks. I mean, and this is very common. And who knows how abused Candace Owens might have been, because she speaks English very well. And it's a sick process that many black Americans go through. And then when they become big or well known and they're not exactly hanging around people of a darker hue all the time, and a lot of people, they don't like blacks. Well, they're where they're being successful. And see that there's always an in-between story, a lot of details that are sometimes left out. But just want to get that out with you.
There's crabs in a bucket, which is what you're talking about, and that's a big problem. It's an intramural issue that can only be solved within the house. Nobody outside can solve that crabs in a bucket issue for sure.
Now, I want to talk about, it's break time, but when we come back, I want to talk to you about your column. I got to read it. I was late last night, and I love to read good stuff late at night anyway, and your column was one of the things.
Make mealtime a good time. Made in Texas, with more nutrients and protein in every cup, and wholesome, sustainable ingredients. Every bite of Canaday is a world of goodness for pets and the planet. Canaday!
I went through last evening, and a great column, and I want to talk about that when we return on this, the Ron Edwards American Experience.
Listening to the Ron Edwards American Experience. Man, it doesn't get any better than that.
How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Constitutional Grounds, the hot air roasted coffee that produces a smoother, richer, healthier, and less acidic coffee. Our unique hot air roasted coffee has a most delicious taste that everyone is raving about. Because you want the best, Constitutional Grounds is the coffee you want in your cup. Simply go to theronedwards.com and click on to the Constitutional Grounds coffee display to make your purchase, and to be sure to use the RE20 promo code and you will receive a 20% discount. Remember, Constitutional Grounds, the coffee you want in your cup.
You're listening to the K-Star Talk Radio Network, broadcasting truth around the world.
So now, the sick and demented Democrats, along with Bill Gates, George Soros, and others, got their evil wish to slow down the U.S. economy. But that's only half the problem. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On the next page from the Edwards Notebook, the, in my opinion, coronavirus pandemic orchestrated event has been used to literally play politics with people's lives and livelihoods, and our republic to be strong, prosperous, and a land of liberty with equal opportunity for all. Bill Gates, Soros, and others have overinflated egos and opinions of themselves and think they should be deciding on who should live and who should die, and whether mankind should live or exist under a global-wide, one-size-fits-all government. that decides who lives and who dies. Democrats like Nancy Pelosi have demanded wind and solar tax credits and increased collective bargaining power for unions in the pandemic relief package. Such madness proves beyond a reasonable doubt that we the people must seek providential guidance and not put up with the utter political rubbish spewing from leftist Democrats and rhino Republicans. I'm Ron Edwards. Check out theronedwards.com for news updates and other great stuff.
Ron Edwards, the new voice of America.
Sponsored by the Tri-County Liberty Coalition.
The Ron Edwards American Experience, the talk show that celebrates America and reminds everyone she's worth fighting for. Join me, host Ron Edwards, and also don't miss a daily page from the Edwards Notebook Commentary, right here on
K-Star Talk Radio Network.
Liberty Works Radio Network.
The last frequency.
Ron Edwards, the new voice of America.
The Ron Edwards American Experience. I'm Ron Edwards, your happy host, and welcome, my friends. I want to share something with you real quick. Republicans, stop defending yourselves against liberal smears. One of the biggest problems the right has is that they are always on defense. They never go on offense with preemptive strikes or attacks like the left does, but rather always assume whatever the left says about them is true and therefore worth defending against. It's why we lose, at least that was until President Trump. There are two schools of Republicans / conservatives before Trump and after Trump. And there's much more to this great column written by one, Brooke Emery. Hey, Brooke, great column. And man, this really strikes home. Well, not home to me, but it really strikes home to the Republican Party. This is something, you know what, I think you should send this to all of them, especially Kevin McCarthy, Mitch McConnell, all of them. And the only one that doesn't really need it is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She stands alone, heads and shoulders above all of them. That's just my opinion.
Well, and I am trying to send it. The problem is that I got kicked off Twitter, so I do what I can on Getter. So it's on my website, BrookeTalksAmerica.com. If anybody would like to share it, I would appreciate that, to be a force multiplier. But here's the thing. Yes, it's for Republicans, but we see with Joe Rogan, oh my God, it's everybody. Listen, you will never, ever, ever satisfy, and by the way, Trump came out and told Rogan to stop apologizing. You're never going to satisfy the communists. You're never going to satisfy the woke mob, so just don't do it. This guy's going to get kicked. Look, I'm going to give you a prediction on Joe Rogan, and then I'll talk about Republicans. Joe Rogan will get kicked off Spotify. Why? Because he apologized. Okay, because you can never satisfy them. Anything that he's ever said is going to come up, and they're just going to say, I can't take the heat because all of the corporations have no spine. Rumble offered him $100 million. Rumble sucks. Okay, so he's not going to do well on Rumble, and people aren't going to listen to him on Spotify if they think he's a big P word because he's such an apologist. Just, by the way, that little video compilation, the Young Turks has the exact same compilation of them using the full N-word with the hard R at the end. Are they apologizing? No, because the media wants to get rid of Rogan. They don't care if he says N-word 50,000 times. They care that he had Malone on there talking about the vaccines. That's what they care about. They don't want any single solitary person to deviate from the norm. Now, with regard to Republicans.
Hey, before you get there, I want to say something. I disagree with you on him being kicked out of a Spotify. For about 90 seconds, I thought he was going to get kicked out, especially after the apologies. And then I sat down and I did a little thinking, or as Quick Draw McGraw would say, I did a little thinning. And guess what the conclusion I came up with, Brooke? I came up with the conclusion that he will not get kicked out. Here's the reason why. You have to get into the cracks sometime with these issues. When you use the N-word, I feel like I'm cheating by not saying it because everyone knows what it is, and I feel almost like an idiot just saying in. I mean, that's retarded. But anyway.
That's the R word. That's the R word, too.
Yeah. But here's the thing. He's not going to get kicked off because when you hear that word, the connotation is meant against black men. And that's that's the connotation that's being taken, because that's the people that use it most often in their rap songs. And so even though black people that call each other that name all the time get mad when someone like Joe Rogan or calls black people that, it's kind of like my dad used to tell me. He says, well, if you don't respect yourself, no one else is going to respect you. And that's kind of what's going on here. And so if they thought for a second that was also meant towards black females, yes, he would get kicked off. And the reason why he would then get kicked off is because black females are the single largest consumer group in America. If they thought that they would close their purses, their pocketbooks, oh yeah, he would be gone in a Manhattan minute. But because of the connotation, it's towards black men, they don't matter. And so it's okay. And he's gonna catch a little heat, and that's okay. He's a man, he's a big man, he can take it. But trust me on this one. He will not lose his job unless he wants to leave and go to Rumble. And I hope he does go to. I would like that he would go to Rumble, because then they would get more attention to Rumble, and maybe Rumble would upgrade their process, and things would be better over there. Because see, I'm on Rumble, and how you described it is pretty accurate. So, but go ahead. You wanted to talk about the Republicans.
Well, I'll tell you what. If he gets kicked off, you send me a bag of coffee. If he doesn't get kicked off, I'll get a bag of coffee. Make a deal?
You got it. Amen.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
So, because I don't think it's about the N-word. I think it's about the Malone. That's the real problem. They'll use the N-word for ammunition. But anyways, okay, so the Republicans. Oh, my gosh, this is what makes them so insane about Trump. Because, you and I have had so many conversations about this. They are feckless eunuchs before Trump, right? Literally, it's like every time someone says anything, they start from a defensive posture, and they just act like whatever the left says about them are true, right? So they automatically start from like the beaten child syndrome. Okay, then you have someone like Trump comes along, and he's such a gangster, right? It's like I always say, and I said it in the article. They said Trump says, oh, they're not sending their best. Yeah, they're not. Just like Castro. Castro didn't send his best. No country sends their best to another country. They send rapists and murderers and child sex traffickers, which is exactly what they're doing. And there's a video out, it was on Getter, I don't know if it's on Twitter, of this psychotic illegal in the car, like barking at the Border Patrol. So they're not sending their best. Okay, they're sending freaks and weirdos over the border, and they're raping the children along the way, which none of the Democrats care about. The point is this: so when he says, "Oh, I'm going to build a wall," oh, that's racist. The Democrats call him racist, and then every Republican goes to the microphone and says, "Oh, we can't say we're going to do the border. We can't say they're going to do the wall." And Trump says, "Oh, really? And then he says illegal alien." They say, "Oh, it's offensive to say illegal alien." Trump says, "Oh, really? I think I'm just going to say illegal alien." He doesn't back down. They always back down. And even though that's one of the things that makes them so crazy about Trump, is that they have been able to cow all the Republicans into submission for so long that they were not able to break that man and make him cower to them ever. In the whole entire time, he never did that. And maybe there were some things that he should apologize for keeping Fauci on, okay? For real.
Yes.
And he should probably apologize for picking Pence, but whatever. This is like, they can't stand it. So this is the thing. And I have a super PAC. It's called Defend American Freedom. DASPAC.org. Any Republican who is not part of the new right, and that's the fighter right, that's the Sabatini, the MTG, the Matt Gaetz, all them, okay? Those, if that's not your candidate, dump them. Get someone else. I don't care. If a candidate's not willing to say that they support President Trump and the MAGA agenda, that's the first thing. And also, if they apologize for anything, and I'm sorry, Tim Scott is like, no, okay? I mean, I was listening to the podcast with Jesse Kelly talking about him, and it was like, I don't care who you are. If you're in the Republican Party, Tim Scott with Trey Gowdy, total rhinos, okay? You can't say that anything that the left says is real at all, because it's not. They're liars, they're communists, right? So whoever the candidate is has to be a new right fighter and cannot assume the narratives of the left. If they are, they will not get my support, and they shouldn't get your support, because they will not stand up in the breach for you against the communists. And that's what Trump does, and that's why I love him so much. So they need to just stop defending themselves at all.
Amen. Amen. And that is one thing that has agitated me for so long. And Tim Scott, I think he's a wonderful man. He's an intelligent individual, but he's too nice. He's too nice, and he uses his Christianity in the wrong way. Christianity means you're supposed to fight for what is right, that you don't back down because you have faith in God Almighty. Therefore, you should be more energized. And if you know something is wrong and immoral and goes against what is right and what works for the good, you should automatically, no matter how Christian you are, if you are in the political game, you've got to fight. And you're correct. I hope that Herschel Walker makes it. I think he will be a great senator. I think he'll be what we need, because he's fought all his life. And he's not the best talker in the world, but he's very smart. He's very smart with money and things of that nature, and he's very determined. Unlike most Republicans, he won't. I don't think he will turn and okay, we got to go along to get along, like Mitch McConnell and people like that. I don't think you would hear that out of him. But what say you?
No, I agree. And there are other candidates like Laverne Spicer here in Florida, Byron Donalds here in Florida is great. There are a lot of candidates, and that's the whole point. You have to be a fighter, okay? It doesn't matter who you are. You're never going to escape the wrath. You cannot be nice enough for these people. They are psychopaths. They are savages. They are hyenas. And I hate hyenas, Ron. We've talked about it. I think we've talked about it, but I wrote about it in my article. I absolutely hate hyenas with a hot hate of 1,000 suns. They're disgusting. And that's exactly what Democrats are. So you can't appease them, okay?
No.
It doesn't matter.
We can't appease them. It's time to defeat them. Well, Brooke, I hate to tell you this, but it's time to once again say goodbye. We look forward to having you back again next week if you have time in your busy schedule. The folks love you in the audience every time you show up, so we look forward to you next time.
I love being here. Thanks. God bless.
Take care. Bye now. Great American. We will have her back again on regularly scheduled for Tuesdays on the show, and she brings it, doesn't she? Well, Speaker Pelosi spent $500,000 on a private jet just last year, despite climate preaching. She doesn't want you and I to have a jet, but of course she has one. I'm Ron Edwards. I shall return.
The Ron Edwards American Experience Talk Show, where our unalienable rights are celebrated.
My name's Joe Biden. But the only way we put it behind us is if more Americans get vaccinated. We also know that as our economy has come roaring back, we've seen some price increases. Some folks have raised worries that this could be a sign of persistent inflation, but that's not our view. Our experts believe, and the data shows, that most of the price increases we've seen were expected and are expected to be temporary. keep forgetting I'm president.
Constitutional Grounds, the hot air roasted coffee that produces a smoother, richer, healthier, and less acidic coffee. Our unique hot air roasted coffee has a most delicious taste that everyone is raving about. Because you want the best, Constitutional Grounds is the coffee you want in your cup. Simply go to theronedwards.com and click on to the Constitutional Grounds coffee display to make your purchase, and to be sure to use the RE20 promo code and you will receive a 20% discount. Remember, Constitutional Grounds, the coffee you want in your cup.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happens. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
800-430-6715. That's 800-430-6715.
Attention timeshare owners. Are you dissatisfied with your timeshare? Tired of the financial burden? Were you misled by the salesperson? Don't want or can't use your timeshare anymore? Then you may qualify for timeshare cancellation. Timeshare Defense Attorneys is the #1 affordable fixed fee legal solution in the country with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Our experienced lawyers will evaluate your case, and if we take you on as a client, we will work on your case until it's solved in your favor. That's our 100% satisfaction guarantee. One of our lawyers will keep you informed in the process, all while protecting your rights, interest, and even your credit. Get the relief you need now from the burden of your timeshare. Call now for a free consultation, and don't forget to ask about our stimulus discount program.
Call 800-492-8151. That's 800-492-8151.
This is Kyle Warren, the professor of politics, and you're listening to The Ron Edwards on the Ron Edwards American Experience.
Yep. We are back. I'm Ron Edwards, and thanks for tuning in this day. And we are together, once again, standing for liberty. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in the United States of America, and for people around the world. And speaking of people around the world, thanks to our Canadian pals that are standing up for liberty in Ottawa and Saskatchewan and throughout that great, wonderful nation. In fact, the Ambassador Bridge, I understand, is having a bit of trouble right now. That's between Windsor, Ontario, and Detroit, Michigan. Great bridge there is being blocked by truckers. Good deal. Truckers, keep up the good work, and we hope that the American truckers will be energized in like manner and descend upon the creepy city of Washington, D.C. You know, people were dying because of the way that the coronavirus has been dealt with in this country. In fact, Dr. Peter McCullough said recently, "I never thought I'd see the day where doctors are censored and patients are kept from care." We were lied to about the number of deaths from the coronavirus. Yes. Were the tests run at cycles too high to purposely show false positives? I believe so. Could someone pass the virus if asymptomatic? No, not really. Was social distancing valid? Yet. Were masks beneficial? No. Was the lockdown effective in stopping the viral spread? No. Have nearly a half of small businesses been destroyed throughout the United States? Yes. Were they destroyed on purpose? Well, in my opinion, yes. Has the economy tanked? Yes. despite the positive reports that we get about the jobs. You know, they say that, 400 jobs were created. Boom, 400,000 jobs were created. No, those were just, I bet you the majority of those jobs were just jobs that are coming back online. That's all. Yes, have the big box stores benefited? Of course. Has domestic abuse risen? Yes. Has drug addiction climbed? And speaking of drug addiction, how about this? Speaking about racist Democrats, racists, the Biden administration wants to send crack pipes and more needles and things of that nature to the black community so that the blacks can just more easily drug up. Yep. That's how low this government has gone now. And this is how, and it's all, guess what? It's under the guise of racial equality. So, to promote equality in America today, according to the Biden regime, is to simply supply blacks with needles, with nasty needles for drugs and crack pipes. Talk about immoral. And you wonder why this nation is going to hell in a handbasket. Well, you've got Macron, French President Macron, a worthless individual, shuttling around the world, trying to negotiate peace between Mother Russia, Ukraine, and Western Europe. How crazy is that? How symbolic is that? We've got a doofus in the White House. Supreme doofusity, not only in the White House, but in the House of Congress. Oh, Lord have mercy. Have suicide rates escalated in this so-called republic, turned mobocracy? Have mental and physical problems risen? Yep. Have children lost IQ from masking? Yes. Are children disabled via speech impediments and learning disabilities because of the lockdowns and masking up? Yes. Have the AMA, CDC, FDA, NIH protocols saved patients? Hell no. They have purposefully murdered hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions, who could have been saved. Yep. I know of a few cases myself where people went to hospital and instead of being allowed to receive simple drugs or things that could have saved their lives, they were given remdesivir and put on the ventilators, and of course that killed them. So that it did happen. The dissident doctors, scientists, and healthcare workers know there are repurposed drugs, inexpensive and available, that could have saved up to 86% of those who died. Had those same stakeholders lied about hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin? Yep. Even Lancet, the New England Journal of Medicine, lied like a dirty, filthy rug. Terrible stuff. Terrible stuff, my friends. But the good news in all of this is that I will be back. I'll be back. Now that I see that my time is up, thank you so much for your time.
Tags that stage right.
Yep, 23 hours from now, I shall return. Bring the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as we blow away the myths and reveal the truth, as always, on the Ron Edwards American Experience. Thanks for Brooke Emery for stopping by today and bringing her joyful attack on evil. I'm Ron Edwards. Remember to love your nation, love your neighbor, pray for our nation as well. We certainly need it. Until next time, bye now.
Whatever you're funny, Peacock's got it exclusively. Bears beats The Office on Peacock. Stream every moment from Dunder Mifflin and explore bonus extras and exclusives. Plus, if you're looking for more classic hits, you can stream every episode of Parks and Recreation, 2.5 Men, and every season of SNL. In the mood for something brand new? Check out Peacock's original comedies, The Amber Ruffin Show, and Saved by the Bell. Whether you're craving a new binge or familiar fave, you can find tons of comedy hits on Peacock. Get started for free at peacocktv.com. Peacock streaming the biggest sporting events, exclusive originals, and the latest movies. This February, we've got Super Bowl 56, the 2022 Winter Olympics, and the Peacock original Bel Air. Plus the new movie Marry Me in theaters and streaming Valentine's Day. Sign up now at peacocktv.com.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
K-Star Talk Radio Network.
Prepare for launch in 3, 2, 1.
And away we go.
C-A-C-M